Have you ever loved someone so completely and so totally that you're relatively certain it drove you insane? My name is Heather Feather. I am the owner of Rare Burn Medicine, and today's topic is mental. I am someone that has discussed and talked about struggling with chronic depression, and it's challenging no matter what you're dealing with. If your mind goes really dark, to have that spark to get through each day, to get up, to get out of bed, to dress yourself, to do the thing. And I'm well blessed because I've been quite effectual at getting a lot done through all the layers and years of depression. But there are ways in which our mind not only goes dark, but it can feel like I am losing my mind. And for me, my love is so intense that when my mind and my attention is with someone, it can be very difficult to get my attention off of them. And it can kind of, like, if the feeling isn't mutual, it can drive me bananas. And I've had an intense experience with this in this life, and it's been a tremendous grace and gift that's offered me a lot of shadow integration, a lot of evolution, a lot of opportunity to look at the many facets of my being in the way that I love. And there are many ways that we can judge others as being mental. I've experienced deeply loving people that have done some things that it's like, that's a little strange, that's a weird gift to give, or if you're not expecting love to arrive in the room, you might be extremely judgmental when an ancient friend has come to shake your hand and be with you. And you might assume that the past, some trauma, tragedy, trial, tribulation, X situation, has presents itself again in front of you. And it's not necessarily the case. Who do you consider to be completely mental? Oh, it's these homeless people that talk to themselves. Well, you have an inner voice and an inner dialogue. Not all humans have it, but many have an inner dialogue in addition to their outer dialogue. And for those of you that do, it can seem mental if you were to give it vocalization. For those kids that had imaginary friends or angels or ancestors or spirit guides or guardian angels, or those that are more spiritually inclined and have opened the spiritual sight to see with a third eye, might recognize these children that are having imaginary friends are having an experience with something that is true to them, but because you as an adult with your closed perception don't see them, you think, is my child mental? Oh no, they just have an imaginary friend. That makes me feel more comfortable with what's going on here. They just imagined a person. And it's like, yeah, or maybe all three of your eyes don't work, adult. Have you ever considered that? So when is it that you decide that someone in the river of your life whose path you cross, you go, they're mental, When we study Hawaiian shamanism and look into the beautiful consciousness that's present with the kahunas of Hawaii, we recognize there's so much beauty in the awareness of consciousness in Hawaiian shamanism. And one of the ways that they say it is, you are not dreaming my dream. And because you are not dreaming my dream, you do not see what I see. But it doesn't make my dream invalid just because you don't see it. I was thinking earlier about working for Greenpeace, and I was given that grace and that gift. And I remember, there was a lot of perception that some of these people are freaking mental, because we would have people walk past us as we were like, hey, do you have a minute for Greenpeace? And they'd go, I pour oil in the creek. And it's like, okay, impressive. Like, everyone's so proud of you. Should it make you mental? Like, way to go. Like, you're freaking mental. And, we would have people that would park their Hummers, and we would be like, this is freaking mental that you just want to destroy the environment. And in my ignorance and in my adolescent state of awareness of diversity being present in the garden of life, I felt superior in my consciousness of what that two-legged should be doing. I felt like I had the right to character rewrite them. And that is not my job, and is not going to become my job, and will never be my job, has never been my job. And in my perspective, is not your job, has never been your job. You are not writing the characters of 8.2 billion people on this earth. You have a character you're stewarding. And how are you doing? And how are you judging? So you might judge the homeless person as mental and go, I'm not giving you money. You'll buy alcohol as you turn to the liquor store to go get your own booze and don't have to sleep alone on the streets, and judge them as being, they're crazy. They're talking to themselves. And it's like, maybe you need to talk to yourself. You got a real tight energy that is unpleasant, actually. You know what I mean? You're so busy trying to look sane, you look like a nutbag to me. To me, you're looking mental because you're not allowing freedom of expression, which is true liberation, you know? And so it's like, what do you decide is meant? You can go, the rich person is mental. You don't know them. You don't know what they contribute to. You don't know what they do. You know, the beautiful person is mental. She's mental. She thinks she's so special. Well, maybe it's just that I think you're ugly and you need to work on that too. Maybe you need to recognize your own beauty and don't need to be so hateful to those that are maybe blessed because of who they've been for many, many lifetimes. You don't actually know what you look upon when you look upon another person. And we can go, you know, it's like I was talking to my beloved sister today, and a topic that I feel very passionate about is that if you are trans, I, of course, always in all dimensions honor your pronouns. Like, I celebrate with you that you know who you are. But it is, to me, a little mental to assume that 8.2 billion people are going to understand you, agree with you. It's kind of arrogant, be on the same page with you. You know what I mean? It's like there is a component of, it's called dead naming for a reason. And if somebody died, the stages of grief by Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, the first one is denial. The second is anger. And so when people transition into their authentic selves and recognize who they've truly been all along, and that seems like something we should all celebrate, I understand, it doesn't mean that everyone is going to be in the shoes that you're in. And it's arrogant, and there's a lot of hubris in assuming that everyone is going to stand where you stand, and that they should immediately, and how dare they grieve the person that died that they love. And my sister was reminding me, or teaching me actually, that this Elizabeth Kubler-Ross is considered the foremost authority on grief. She's written books on this topic. But Suzanne was teaching me that she was actually talking about hospice, and those people that are close to the grave or close to death and dying, that are in dire circumstances, the first thing they do is deny it, and then they get angry about it. But if we think about stages of grief, irrespective if it's you dying or someone else dying or the person that we knew dying, who are you to demand that they immediately accept the death of the person they knew to embrace you? You know what I mean? It's like, maybe you underestimate how loved you were as this being that now needs to die. And maybe it's okay to give your brethren some time to transition. And so what Heather is asking is like, where are you in your consciousness being right about how mental someone else is? Where are you in your consciousness being right about how mental you are? Like, am I crazy? Like, that's very common, and it's okay. It's very common. Heather's done it many times. Likely you have done it. Am I crazy? I must be crazy. I'm talking to myself. Am I schizophrenic? It's like, okay. We don't have to judge everything as a disorder. It's possible that you're a deeply complex and interesting being. And it doesn't make you crazy to have a wide variety of experiences. And it's possible to give yourself some humanity. Do you have to attack your character and call yourself crazy because your mind is looping? You know, like Heather, there's a person in the room of my life I have worked to literally reprogram my subconscious mind. I've done all kinds of things and I cannot get them off my mind. And sometimes you're just like, I'm going to sleep thinking of this person. I'm walking in my day thinking of this person. And it's like, I'm not going to attack myself and be like, oh, I'm mental. There's something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm not witnessing all the lifetimes we've had together, or all the infinite multiverses in which our energies shake, or all the ways our reflecting pools help to slake a thirst within us. Like, there's so much that I don't see about the experience I am having. Are you attacking yourself for being mental or for being crazy? Can you soften on that? Can you be as humanitarian with the self as you're being with others, perhaps? And is there anyone in the river of your life that you've decided these people are all mental? My strong, abiding recommendation would be to go talk to them and get to know those kind of people. For me, when I was a Greenpeace worker, it would be for me to go talk to the Hummer driver. Why do you drive a Hummer? What do you think about the environment? Do you think it matters? Do you think this is a hologram? Why do you think it's okay? You know what I mean? What is it I don't know about you this day that is causing me to feel like I'm superior and have the right to judge you in your beingness? Perhaps You're not as mental as you think. Perhaps it's time for you to give yourself a break. Amun.